Hello and welcome. So this is a new Truth About Parenting video, and I'm giving 5 tips on getting ready for school. So if you already have a kid in school, then you have an idea of, what time you need to leave the house by, what things you'll need that they need to take with them, and if you're applying for schools, then it's round about October, November, where schools will start doing open days for new parents and children, and they always often do an open evening as well if you've got the choice of school that you wanted. If you don't, then you can have the right to appeal. But it's round about October, November when you do have to start thinking about schools to apply. Normally it's a date in February where you do have to think about applying for schools. So then they can give you, because we have to make 3 choices. I don't know if that's changed now, but you used to. So your first school, your second school, the third school. Henry got his second choice, and it's been okay, but it looks like the next year he's going to be going to a new school. So again, we've had to kind of do that way ahead of time for that to be confirmed. We're still waiting to find out what school he will be going to next year, but it's still good to. So the first one really is to plan ahead of time, do a checklist of everything you need to take with them, and that's the same for yourself as well. With round about August is when you have to start preparing them for school if they've not gone to school before. And what you can do is make sure if they've gone to the moving up day, and also when Henry was starting school, the teachers did a home visit. So they visited your home to see your child in his everyday habitat, and they would go through any worries that we had. So it was like a one-to-one meeting, as well as like a whole sometimes they do like an open evening where you can go along, and once you found out that is your school, and then they will then talk about what the school's about, how they lots of schools now have like keywords which are like targets, so they want all kids to be kind, get involved in some of the schools, outside activities, and it's just basically for you as a parent to get to know the teachers, get to know what class they will be in, so then you can prepare them as well. But obviously just be careful, don't show pictures of the school on social media if they don't ask, if they go against that, because you want your kids to enjoy it, but you obviously don't want anybody turning up at school who shouldn't be. So they do have to take precautions in that sense. But if you want to do like a little sort of get ready for school booklet like they did for Henry at Henry's nursery, then that is a brilliant idea, because it prepares them. It's not such a shock when they first go, and so if they do like an open day, a moving up day, they use those days so you can get to know the school and they can too. So the next one is do a practice run to and from school, because Henry used to start about the doors were open at Henry's school for about 8:45, and because he was into we had to go school watching, plane watching, bus watching, helicopters. We had to you always had to leave around about 8:10, just to make sure that he could do all that whilst we walk on to school. Sometimes he did want a badge and just wanted to watch the birds in the pond nearby, but I would say, right, Henry, we won't be able to do this anymore then. If if we don't get to school, then we're going to have to go a different way. And by doing that, it's fine for him to look at the things as he goes by, but you also, the mission is to get them into school on time. So always give yourself enough time so you can do that, to make the school run fun, but that you actually get there, because it can take about 45 minutes, no exaggeration, because the kids don't walk fast. I never used to walk fast going to school. It was mainly when I left school that I used to walk, speed up my walking. Anyway, so number 3 is get anything ready you can the night before. So that includes giving them their bath in the evening, make sure the school uniform is hung up, make sure that their breakfast is ready. So you can bowl your breakfast if they're in cereal, or just put the cereal box in the bowl, just so you can then just open it up, pour it in the bowl, put milk with it, done, and then they just have breakfast. But now Henry's actually having breakfast at school, so we don't have to give him so much in terms of food. But it's still important. I think they've done that to encourage kids to have breakfast, because I never used to have breakfast, and my diet used to suffer for not eating breakfast, because I found that when I had to work from about 6 o'clock onwards, I couldn't stomach a breakfast. So, but when working with the cooks at the holiday camp, we would all sit down at one point and have a bacon or sausage roll, sausage, like baguette, for example, and then go back to work. But if anything you can get ready the night before, get it ready with your checklist, and make sure that and this is number 4, have all bags and coats ready by the front door, so you can grab and then go. Very important. That's why I often leave clothes out, not to be untidy, but so I can just grab, put them on, leave, and sometimes you have to do that, because honestly kids do take ages at one point to get out the front door, and then take ages from indoors to the school. So anything that you can save your time on, save the time, because honestly then you can just focus on getting them from your house to the school without any bother. So always have bags, coats, or even put their socks in the shoe by the door, so they can just put on their socks and shoes, put on their coat, pick up their bags, leave the house. Done. And then the 5th thing is think about, and I've already touched upon this, about looking for schools a year before, because like I say, if you don't want to miss out on your choice, then you do have to get in early when it comes to applying for schools, especially in the UK. I don't know how it works in other countries, I don't know, but in the UK it's normally, like I say, around October, November when you will start viewing schools, and then it's around about February, like 15th of February I think it was, when Henry it had to be decided what school he wanted, we wanted, and do speak to them about it. That you also get them involved, because it's important to them. And if they say, well, I really liked it at that school, and then you say, right, okay, let's just put that's his first choice, and then you can say, right, okay, what other school did you like, what, and because when you go to view at school, you do it without obviously your children, but then what they will do is that when it's confirmed that they're going to that school, the nursery that they work at will normally take them into the school, so again they can adjust and see how it all works before they actually go to school, which I think is a fantastic idea. But do get in early, and so if you want to make a good choice, then get your application in before December is my advice, because then you can have, luckily I had 2 schools which were according to Ofsted outstanding, so that's very rare really, but it gave me comfort, because I went to a primary school which was a bit rough and ready sometimes. I was never a lover of school. I couldn't wait till 3:30. I couldn't wait till Friday. I used to dread Sunday evenings because I never used to sleep well, because I knew we'd be back at school on Monday. So, but now kids actually enjoy going to school, but I think it's because it's a lot more sort of flexible, and they do gradual learning. But the only issue I've had is where they've wanted to stop him from wanting to play ball all the time. Yet they would, when he started to get restless, because he does have ADHD, they would then take him out and play football. So it's kind of like, well, you wanted to stop him from doing that, and then you're encouraging it. Now I can see why he's a little bit confused, because like, well, am I allowed to play ball or am I not? You need to work with the schools and be on the same page. And if they're not, then you need to say something about it, because I don't want Henry being excluded from classes and not learning the same amount of time as the other kids. That's why he has one-to-one, because he did have slight development delay. He's catching up, but it's when I was Henry's age, I was reading 4 books. I didn't have. I'm thinking back. I rarely ever remember reading like a really young age book. I was reading things like Beatrix Potter and all those, and they are pictures and words, but I was already sort of reading full books like Harry Potter, Harry Potter was way after, but like Topsy and Tim, the BFG, all Roald Dahl's books. I read all those, and all I didn't read actually was Matilda. I never actually read those, but the other books I did, and they were classic books. But at the age that I was, and Henry, I was already reading those sort of books. So my reading, but then all kids are different. They are, but it is something that is important to me because I write books myself and I love to read as well, and it's helped me in terms of speech and language. I know that I've helped Henry, and I think they've been a bit kind of like slow in terms of reading. So I would say do children's books up to them about 2 or 3 years old, and then start reading bigger books by the time they're 5 and 6. Because you need to make it more challenging, I find, in order for them to get the benefit out of reading books. So that's the only area where I feel that we've been on a different page with, because also I would get him to choose a book, and he loves that Each Peach Pear Plum, The Tiger Came to Tea. That's his ultimate favourite. But again, they're not short books, they're quite long books, so I'm glad he's into those. So he just he's never read that book, but I would now get him to read those sorts of books, rather than cardboard box books all the time, because they're great, but they limit reading rather than helping in some ways. So that's the only area which I'm concerned about. But he does enjoy school. He does get so much out of it now, which is good. It's just certain areas which I think they've missed the page on, but he is catching up. He's doing more writing than he did before, and so his pencil control is actually very good. His pronunciations when he speaks are actually spot on. It's just like sentences where he'll muddle the words up a little bit. But he's getting there. But I do think that reading and writing is something that should be taught from a very young age, because like I said, I was writing stories, not like little stories around this time. I was writing quite full stories, so that's where I feel he's a bit behind on, but that can need to be caught up. But when it comes to starting school, those are 5 tips, so I'll go over them now. So plan ahead, say around August, to get everything ready, do a checklist. 2, do a practice run of the school run. 3, be ready the night before with baths and etc. Have bags and coats near the door, and think about when you are at the time of school, in doing it round about a year before, even September, to be honest. Start going around looking for schools that are nearby, and then when they start to arrange viewings of the school, then do so, because honestly it's good to see it, because what they did when I looked at the Henry school he's at now, they actually had the kids showing the adults where everything was, which was a brilliant idea. So anyway, so I hope this helps you. I wish you good luck. It's they may get a bit upset at first, but Henry was only, in the moving up day, he got very scared about and very anxious about, but then even then he actually enjoyed it, and then was a bit reluctant to leave, and then it was the first 2-3 days where he did cry a little bit and did get a little bit anxious, but then he's now flourished. You know, he loves school, which is good, because like I say, I never but you know, I think it's because they do cater for kids that love to learn and play, but I think even that should be structured in a way, because Henry's gone from that to then sitting down in education. It's a bit like, well, I thought we were allowed to play now, you know. So I do think that the first and the second year are kind of like mishmash, when really they should be, you know, perhaps the first term do learn and play, and then start gradually doing sit down learning for when they then get more prepared for when they go into the second and third year. So again, that's only my opinion on how, you know, schools should be structured. But anyway, that's it for this video, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.